What will happen with young and restless Kyle and Claire? Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up before the video starts. It was only a matter of time before something triggered Jordan's terror training in Claire again, and Young and Restless just set the scene with the upcoming trip to Paris. How could that be? Let us explain. The stars are aligning for Claire and Kyle, but perhaps not in the way it seems, as they may be headed for a psychotic break rather than a romantic interlude. Claire confessed her growing feelings for Kyle to her mother in that childlike way we've become accustomed to, describing how it feels when he looks into his eyes, and admitting that she thinks about him, like, a lot. The beleaguered new Newman also confessed that she'd never had a romantic relationship before, which not only makes her infinitely less experienced than the abbot who's been married multiple times, but utterly unprepared for the complex emotions, not to mention game-playing, that is often involved in such entanglements. Indeed, as much as Kyle gets a glint and a twinkle in his eye when he turns the charm on Claire, it certainly appeared to viewers that, to some extent at least, he is using her to get under Summer's skin. How? It hadn't occurred to him at all to include Harrison and Claire in his business trip to Paris until he and his ex-wife got onto the topic of the nanny during an argument. It was then that Kyle hatched the idea, and he threw it in Summer's face to hurt her. Following through on the threat, Kyle promptly went home and painted a picture of the fun Parisian adventure for Harrison before ever asking Claire if she'd be willing to tag along. This was a manipulation, as he knew full well that Claire would not want to disappoint the boy by turning down the invite. In a total turnabout, Victoria, who had previously warned Claire about Kyle, suddenly was encouraging her daughter to go overseas with the guy and expand her horizons. Something tells us she'll come to regret that decision. Kyle may be doing it without fully realizing, but he is using Claire to stick it to Summer, and took advantage of her soft spot for Harrison to pull it off. Making matters worse, Young and Restless spoilers have Kyle putting Claire in a precarious position again by week's end. The nanny's inexperience and her feelings for Kyle have made it easy for him to manipulate her, but she's not stupid. Once Victoria's daughter, and Jordan's star protege, gets the full picture of how her vulnerability was exploited, and she ends up in the middle of Kyle and Summer's custody battle, it could easily trigger the psychosis she thought she had put behind her. Who will she target? Given this scenario, it's possible she'll want revenge on Kyle for using her in this way. Should she find out he used her invitation to Paris as a means of hurting Summer, she's bound to be beyond disillusioned, not only because he used her, but because of the humiliation of having feelings for a man who exploited her. Love hurts, and Claire's first experience with this reality may just be the catalyst for her to turn back to the dark side. Alternatively, the truth about Kyle and the viciousness of the custody battle could cause Scary Poppins to actually live up to her nickname by targeting Harrison. Would she hurt the boy? Highly unlikely. But if her mind goes all twisted again, she might think she's doing the kid a favor by removing him from the upheaval entirely. And kidnapping number 2, this time at the hands of Claire, would turn the canvas upside down.